okay, so here's this crazy ass thing that I saw that I want to look more into. So you sent me this thing about the Joker in regards to the Joker and how the Joker got pregnant, which is fucking insane, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so here's the thing: if this was like maybe like 5, maybe even like 10 years ago, I would be like, okay, whatever, right? But now it's coming out at a weird time where it's like is this thing going to be woke or not? Is this thing going to fail or not? Right? It's just like, like back in the day, a lot of people never really questioned a lot of these things. They're just like, oh, studios are just doing fucking crazy shit, right? But the fact that you're doing it now, and I did see like a screenshot of it. So do I have to actually read through this entire thing, or okay?
It's
uh
not very long, if I'm not mistaken. It's not very long.
okay, okay, so
Oh,
yeah, I remember seeing this.
mhm.
Okay, acid trip back up. So yeah, I'll go ahead and read this entire thing. The Joker, the man who stopped laughing. This is a review. Oh, this is a review of it. Okay, deep sigh. You know what I miss? The feeling that when I pick up a comic, I might get a good story. Instead, I'm reading Joker, the man who stopped laughing, a book that continues to struggle to meet the lowest of my expectations. The good news is that this issue isn't nearly as confusing as the last one. We only focus on one Joker and one location. It's so much easier to follow. The bad news is that it's very much a filler issue. Nothing new about the mystery of the story is revealed. The character do not develop, and the book is spent instead of watching various episodes unfold as the Joker tries to escape the hospital to avoid cops. The Joker's comedy. Okay, probably not going to read the panel. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah, I'm probably not going to read the panel. Rosenberg's voice for the Joker remains okay, but I think he struggles in the comedic aspects of the character. The slow comedic monologues with which he's been opening each issue are neither funny nor they do inform the story. They've become very tiresome to me. Later in the book, there's an extended scene of the Joker trying to entertain some sick children. While part of the point is that the Joker's violent jokes are only really funny to him, the whole sequence managed to turn me off. The Joker works as a charming villain because darkly because his darkly ironic sense of humor makes the reader laugh, and then the reader feels bad about it. Here, the Joker comes off as more brash, gross, and unintelligent. I'm just not getting the likability, humor, and style that I've come to expect from his characters. So here's the thing. I think what's it called again with the whole Joker thing? Like it's like one of the most popular villains of all time, right? Not even just comic
Mhm.
books, but in general. Like when you hear like who's a villain, it's like what character? Like people just automatically think of the Joker. And he's so popular, just people are just trying to see what can we do to make this character even more crazier. Maybe it's good or bad. And I think in this one, it's just like this is probably like one of the craziest things I've heard from the Joker. Anything related to him, and this is on top of like the Jared Leto shit, right? I'm not a big Jared Leto fan. I do like him when he was in 30 Seconds to Mars, but not a big fan of him as a Joker. The action of the comics comes from the scenes with the Red Hood. I have to say, the snowy night sequences and the movement of the Red Hood as he runs or fights is still very well drawn and colored. It's great to see a comic really use the weather and its shading to create a mood. You can really feel the cold air and the sound of police sirens as Red Hood sneaks into the hospital. But then we are reminded that nothing is actually happening in this issue. We don't find out anything from the Joker other than that he's convinced that the other Joker isn't the real deal. We already knew that. We don't get anything new from the Red Hood either. He says that he's motivated to stop the Joker because the Joker killed him. So, do you know the story of the Red Hood?
I know. I don't know it in full, but I know it's Jason Todd.
Yeah. So under the Red Hood, which is the animated movie, of course it's based off of a comic. It's probably one of my favorite DC animated movies. It's really well done. Jensen Ackles plays I believe Jensen Ackles plays Jason Todd, and I believe God DiMaggio, fuck, the guy who did the voice for Bender. and the guy who did the voice for Jake the dog from Adventure Time, he does the voice for Joker in that movie, and he does an amazing Joker. It actually sort of sounds like not so like it sort of sounds like what's it called again? Mark Hamill, just a little
Mark
bit, but
Hamill.
it's pretty damn good. So you haven't given him a watch. It came out, I believe, in 09, so it's pretty old. But to keep it short, it's the one. It's called like the Death in the Family, and what happens is that he captured Jason Todd and beat the crap out of him over with a crowbar, and basically Batman gets it too late. The building explodes. He dies, and I believe somehow he gets like regenerated from like Ra's al Ghul's like sort of like rejuvenation
Oh,
thing. He
okay.
comes back and he's all fucked up. His mind's all weird, and he basically blames. He sort of becomes a vigilante like Batman, but he kills. And he
Yeah,
wears his
yeah.
red hood thing because Joker's first rendition when he came into the comics, he was wearing this like red, like sort of like tubular hood that covers him before he actually became the Joker. So he wears the red hood to sort of it's like a callback. But what happened is that when Batman finds out who he is, he's like, oh, you're fucking Jason Todd. And they sort of have an exchange saying that, like, you could have stopped this. You could have saved me, but your fucking ego and your no killing policy led me to die, and it's your fault. So it's actually a very, very well like
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
written comic. And it's because it's a lot of emotions brought up. And you're like, damn, that is true. Like if you just killed the Joker, I wouldn't have died. A lot of people wouldn't have died, and it's your fault. And he blames him.
Uh,
It's really well done. The
okay,
animated
okay.
movie is actually really well done too.
I think that was the basis for. Have you played the Batman Arkham games?
I have not, and I
Okay,
should.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Because the third one, Arkham Knight, it's spoiler alert. The Arkham Knight is because like this mysterious villainy figure. As far as I know, the reveal is Arkham Knight is Jason Todd,
Mhm,
going out against Batman because in a similar story that you just said, like he's out for Batman because he didn't save him, stuff like that from the Joker.
mhm.
That's the premise of Arkham Knight, the third one, the final one.
Man, I definitely need to check out all the Arkham games, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
they're good.
like I definitely need to check that out for sure. Like, at least the first two. I think that there's like a collector's edition or something like that where they're
Yeah,
actually pretty cheap.
you can get them on sale for like $5 each on
Okay,
Steam.
how
Yeah.
long is the gameplay like
Uh,
per game?
if yeah, if you're just gonna do the main game, I can imagine you can finish it in like 2 to 3 streams each.
Okay, it's not that long
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. It's not long. It's not long. Just for the main game, just for the main story.
Okay, let's see, blah 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 blah. Let's see, okay, there it is. Yeah, dude, that happened almost 40 years ago in a comic, and we just had a very similar story to Jason chasing Joker for revenge. Isn't it time for something new? So we left with a little bit more readable issue with some nice art, but not a lot of progression to speak of. The characterizations of Red Hood and the Joker didn't thrill me either. I absolutely don't care about what the big reveal of this comics mystery is going to be because, from the standpoint, it doesn't seem like it's going to be any good. The acid trip back up. So here it is. The more interesting thing to talk about when it comes to the comic is not the main story, though. It's the backup. This is probably the worst story I've ever read in the time of reviewing for Batman News. Once again, we find ourselves in the homage to the old times comic. We find Joker in a dream sequence at the mercy of yet another female superhero he's become enamored with, Zatanna. I really don't get the running gag here. The Joker has never been defined as someone who's obsessed with chasing after women. However, that's not what it comes to in comic, which makes the comic insane. Yeah, so here's the thing. The only time the Joker is ever like crazy about some like a female character are two characters, right? There's Harley Quinn, and the second one was the Killing Joke, which is with Barbara Gordon
Or yeah,
to get Commissioner Gordon. That's the only time he's ever been like really interested in like in what a woman is doing, which is pretty crazy. Let's continue this. Joker wakes up from his dream and finds that he is pregnant. I repeat, the Joker wakes up in the morning and discovers that he's pregnant. Oh my god, I didn't make that up. Just look at the picture below. Okay, I'm actually going to read this. What have we here? I think you're pregnant. I think you're all right. Do we have a good OBGYN we can use? So the Joker goes into the hospital and prepares to give birth. Then he winds up throwing up a mud monster instead. A violent gun-filled chase commences, but then it is discovered that the mud creature is morphed into a child-sized version of the Joker. The Joker accepts this thing as his son and shows him off to Zatanna, taunting her over the family she could have had with him. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
Literally, they are running out of ideas to write, and it's like, how can we make this even more stupid, even more insane than Joker's already? What has Joker done? Oh yeah, he's done this, he's saying, what has he has not given birth. Let's go ahead and make him do that. And it's just, this is mind-boggling. Like, it's, when you read it, it makes you feel like you're getting dumber by the second. So let's see. Ready as I'll ever be, Atomic Skull. So Atomic Skull is actually the one who's actually giving, like, going, basically looking at his dick.
Yeah.
What the heck did I just read? This is one of the comics that you can't really review because there's no real story or artistic vision to pick apart. All you can describe is what can I surmise? Only surmise is the delusion of the comic writers on very special kind of weed. Writing aside, however, there have been a lot of little moments in the DC or stories at DC lately that when we go, how the heck did DC editorial give this a green light? Is there any kind of oversight to the company now? Yeah. It is pretty bad. Overall, comics are overpriced. Their contents are either sub-mediocre work or feature writers exposing their fetishes. Recently, Batman News lost their writer Nicholas Finch to other pursuits. He claimed that he's fallen out of love with DC Comics. I'm really feeling that DC comic books seem like they are written for no one, and no one is really discussing them. Yet, even as more and more people become disillusioned with DC, the company behind the scenes don't seem to care. I 100% agree with this person's review of this comic book. As a person who works in the entertainment industry and knows people who work in the, I guess you would say, like, the comic book industry and even like the animation industry, a lot of times there are these when the sort of like your established people sort of stop working, right? Or they retire, or they move on to bigger and better things. A lot of the stuff that they would do the day-to-day gets replaced by a younger person. So that's why you see a lot of these people who are from coming out of Cal Arts, working at Disney, working at Cartoon Network and stuff like that. That's why, like, a lot of times, like, what happens to, back in my day, cartoons used to look like this, animation used to be this good, or storytelling used to be this good. And now you have all these, the good people retire and or go on to other stuff. And then you have sick people who are actually, being, running a show or something like that. And it definitely sucks. And the thing is that he said that no one's talking about DC, but this could be a publicity thing, right? It's just like no one's talking about DC, and all of a sudden we're talking about DC again, right? So it's like, it could be like, oh, because any publicity may be good or bad. It's good publicity, right?
That's irrational already at this point.
Thanks for checking out this segment of the Project Eggroll podcast. If you like what we do here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know next time when we go live. We do go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Once again, we are just getting started. Tons of more video to come. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.